Hey guys, how are you doing? I wanted to attempt to succinctly explain how I'm using these two notebooks together, but I think we have to start off by giving credit to Megan Rhiannon and her amazing mind. Hi Megan, if you happen to be watching this one. But I definitely took a lot of inspiration from her time in the Avec in 2022, and I think she was using like an Avec and a day free in late 2023. And between those two videos, I've picked up a lot of her system and I'm replicating it and I'm having a really good time with it. I'm trying to kind of start to do my own little spins on things, but I've been trialing out this system for the last 3 days, actually using my 2023 Avec. I had this notebook from when I picked it up in May of 2025, but I didn't want to put pen to paper on the second half of the book until I knew that I was gonna stick with this for at least a month because I could have sold it basically, put it on Poshmark or something. So I came in here over the last 3 or 4 days, and of course now that I say that I can't find it, I promise they're in here. And I played around a little bit with kind of using this as my daily planner and memory keeper again, in conjunction with the Hobonichi Techo grid notebook. And I think I'm really liking this. Behind the scenes, it's been like absolute chaos for the last couple of months, and I have been resorting to planner chaos as sort of a coping mechanism. So if you want to know like the play-by-play of everything I tried over the last couple of months, and that is over on my Patreon. I just did a live stream for the month of July and we went through it all. So if you want to see all the spreads, all the setups, all the alternate planners that didn't quite make the cut, little plug for my Patreon, either tier, you get access to my previous live streams. And you can join me next month for another one if you would like to. But I think that this is the one that we are going to land on because what it is giving me, very similar to my personal rings, is the ability to plan and journal in the same space. And I did not know how much I really wanted that, or I hadn't named it until I quite clocked it with this particular system. So the way I am using this is I'm using the grid notebook from Hobonichi and the Techo Avec. The Avec is just a happier version of the Hobonichi Techo. It's a daily planner. You also get monthlies as well, but this is the July to December book, and then there's a separate book for January through June. So I'll go through this book first. So I want to kind of split it up into like how I'm functionally using the book and then how I'm kind of more journaling, memory and keeping using the book. So the functional bits of this particular notebook is that I use the calendars for future event tracking, just like normal calendar stuff, birthdays, events, appointments, anything scheduled, travel, all of that goes in here along with my big monthly goals. I'm eventually going to add to this to-do list here. But all my normal monthly stuff, I'll pre-plan and here, future date, kind of log and fill out all of the future months. I will probably come back in here and decorate at the end of the month, but the primary goal for this is just keeping track of my appointments. And then the daily pages, I will be daily logging in. So I will come in the night before, I will reference my weeklies, which we'll get to here in a second, my monthlies, and then I will transfer over my to-do list for the upcoming day. I usually set up my to-do list the night before so I don't have to think about it in the morning, but I reference those spreads and then I do a little like mental download of like what's on my mind, what do I need to do, add that, and then once the day starts, I will rapid log. So I will jot quick notes of anything else that kind of comes up throughout the day and add to the bottom of the list. So that's kind of functionally how I'm using this page. On the memory keeping side of the fence is at the end of the day, if I had a ticket, a photo, any other kind of ephemera that I want to keep or collect, I would paste that into the journal, and then I would come in and do a little bit of journaling about the day. My intention is for it to be more date specific focus. So like, what did we do that day? How was I feeling? What was the thing that consumed most of my thought process? So I can kind of capture the day. But in general, when it comes to a daily planner, the two things I've learned over like the last 7 years is that blank pages are part of the process, and having rules means I will not stay consistent. So my intention is to daily memory keep, but if I want to journal about XYZ, not a problem. I'm filling out the page, and that's the goal. Fill out the page or leave it blank because those are fine too. The next kind of functional bits, I think I inserted some footage at the beginning here, is I printed off a bunch of trackers. I guess we can go through these two pages first. So at the end of the dailies, There are some predated pages. The Avec only comes in Japanese, so there's a ton of Japanese pages that I just covered over with printables from my shop. My shop is the Ghosting Pen. I'll have it linked down below. All of my printables that I used are the A6 size files, and they're intended for ring bound planners, so there is like a 1/2 inch gap where ring punches would go, and I didn't bother like trimming them down. I just kind of put them in as is, and it worked pretty well. The only thing is that doing this many printable pages back to back glued in, it's kind of chunked up the binding just a little bit, so fair warning there if you're kind of sensitive to that type of thing. But it was a great use of the page, and I got all my trackers that I wanted together. So I am using some of these things for tracking. I don't know, things that felt more date specific is kind of how I determined to file them in here. So on the graph page, I'm going to do like a burn down of our mortgage. So just kind of showing bar graph style, like how we're doing on paying that off. The favorites page I will use for book rating. So if I read an actual book versus a fan fiction, I will come in here, write the title and like a 1 or 2 liner and an overall rating is kind of the idea. The My 100, I've split into 3 columns because in the Avec you get a My 100 in the first half of the year and the second half of the year, and I don't collect 200 of anything on a given day, or given year, so this is what made sense to me. So the first column I'm using for tracking fan fictions. I read a lot of fanfic. I only write down the ones that kind of leave a lasting impression for me, so just the title, and then maybe I'll color code by universe or something, I don't know. Dates is for date night logs. My husband and I try and do at least like 1 thing a week together. It could be as simple as like sitting downstairs and playing a video game in the same room, or going out to dinner, or a concert or something like that. But I try to list those there. And then this I'm going to try as a wish list, and trying to be a bit more critical about what I put on my wish list, because I'm starting to notice that writing down every little thing I want kind of gives that object like a permanent resonance in my brain. Like I remember it better because I wrote it down. So I'm trying to be more selective about what I put on my wish list, but I have written a couple of things up there. So for the predated pages, these are basically my core habit trackers that I do. So this is my cycle tracker, which is the annual, monthly with summary. I just added this. It's only available in pocket and personal size, but it is a fold out. And this is my meal hygiene tracker. I use some Stalogy washi stickers, and I just track like, did I have alcohol? Did I eat out? Did I kind of eat well or poorly? That type of thing. And then I have my workout log, and this is like the OG version of the annual weekly because I wanted it large and in charge, but this is weeks 27 through 52, Monday through Sunday, and then I'll just write in for week 27, like I walked, nothing, walk, run, that type of thing. And then I like this spread for workout trackers because I can spot weekly trends better. Like maybe I'm really poor at working out on Mondays, so like maybe I should make Monday my rest day or something like that. I then have printed out the adulting log spread, which I need to transfer over. Maybe I'll do this in a future video so you guys can see, because I get asked a lot about what is on here, but basically I will use this as sort of like a when did I last meets non-automated tasks that I need to do to be a functioning adult. This is kind of how I sell it. And so like in my weeks, I'll literally just copy this over so that I've got it. So the top section is like monthly cleaning tasks, monthly cleaning house tasks, so this is, I guess, like personal hygiene stuff, house tasks, vehicle maintenance, financial stuff, and then doctor's appointments. And then I'm also going to add, I need to expand on the house section because there's things that we need to do that I know now that I did not know. So I'll get that set up. And then this page is the 4mm notes, and I intend to just like draw up a little table to do financial summaries at the end of each month, so like money in, money out. And then the house log is for noting down things about our house that kind of come up, like, hey, I noticed XYZ, or we did whatever, just kind of a log. I'm gonna whip myself up a cleaning log, and I'll do that as a tip in. And I have some more pages available if I need those too, but for now, they are good. And then very quickly at the end, there is, I think there's supposed to be future log pages. I call it a calendex, but I will index my daily pages in here. I need to show you guys some of my old indexes. I pulled out my 2019 Hobonichi cousin this past month, and that is like still she is the one for me, the bar which I always wish to achieve again. But I will basically write down what is on my daily page, because sometimes I write down functional information that I want to find again, like notes from a phone call, notes about an insurance quote, things like that, like an important memory, like, hey, I want to remember that day, and then I can index those on here and I'll find them again. And I just drew a couple column line in pencil so that I can come back later and either color code or create a signifier so I can group like information together so I can find them again a bit more quickly. So yeah, that's the Avec portion. And then we have the grid notebooks. So this is an older one. I think this is from the 2023 edition, which incidentally is why I think I'm liking this one so much, because I am fairly positive this is the old Tomo River paper, at least based on how my pens are performing. But this is the Tomitaro Makino. I have like literally 3 of these that I've been hoarding for a couple of years because it's a beautiful notebook. I really love the cover. But this is my journal, and inspired by Megan, functionally, I have added in my weekly spreads because I wish I was a monthly daily planner, but I am not. I need a weekly. So I just kind of whipped this up on a whim, and then one thing led to another, and this is how we landed up at this system. But I was actually flipping through some old bullet journals from like 2022, back when I was in a pocket Leuchtturm. Sorry for anyone who would rather have seen me move into that. But I stumbled upon this weekly spread that I used to do. So it's just 7, daily sections. So all day events and appointments, habit tracker, running to-do list for the week, and then I would do a bunch of section lists as needed. And I really like it. So I set that up to use as my weekly, and then I will have my monthly spreads in here, my daily logs and combined memory keeping in here. And then the rest of this notebook is for either like short-term lists or collections. Like I'll set up my spending log in here, for example, if I need like a running packing list, things that don't feel as important to like keep archived in the Avec, but I still want to obviously have for planning. This is in here. And I think this notebook is really what kind of sold me on this setup, because as I was going through the previously mentioned planner chaos couple of months, I sat down to just think through, like, what do I want to do for a planner system? Like, I am going through it, but swapping out planners isn't helping me with my anxiety. I just need to like make a pick and stick with it. And I sat down and I did like 6 pages of journaling in here to figure that out. And I could do that all in one night, and I didn't feel restricted. And this page size is great. I can think on this page. I've definitely copied Megan's margin style, playing around with that, along with the sticker indexing system. I don't know if I'll keep up with that. I'm quite frankly just too lazy, but I love how it looks. The categories I'm attempting are journal entries, commonplace, ideas, list, brain dump, or like a functional tracker, private thoughts, meaning I would like to like blur it. I don't want to show that on the internet. Planner, stationery, or shop notes. So this could be like a planner ramble or like ideas for the shop or something, anything planner related. Hey, I want to cover that type of thing. And then the black dot is for anxiety or mental health. So if I have a journal entry that is like clearly indicating like this is an anxiety outburst, or I'm journaling about something related to my anxiety, my depression, or my standalone insomnia, then it gets a tag. So I can start clocking that, because I'm very much due for a therapist appointment, and we will leave it at that. But yeah, this is where I'm really loving that this is old Tomo River paper, because this is a Pilot irosizuki ink. I will not remember the name, so I will put it in the description box down below, because do I have it accessible? No, I do not. I'll put it in the description box down below, but it does not bleed through. Look at that beauty. I'm living my best life right now with the old Tomo River paper, and no one can change my mind. So anyway, I'm now doing weeklies in here. I'm journaling in here. If I need to do some like off-cut planning spreads or trackers or lists that I don't necessarily think I want to put in here, I will put it in here. And then the next thing I've got to kind of figure out is basically what will my threading index system look like. But I've got some ideas on how I will do that. But once I get that more formalized and put it into practice, I will report back. But yeah, this is my current planner system. I think similarly to my Hobonichi weeks, I'm going to challenge myself to make it at least least a month in this system. So I want to make it through the entire month of August, and I would like to challenge myself to maybe do 2 or 3 months, because this is the most excited I felt about a planner system in a really long time. I love my ring-based planning, but I think I kind of gotten a little bit stuck with it, stagnant, if you will. I'm not experimenting as much, and this has kind of got me right back in that like experiment mode. So we're gonna give it a go and see how it goes. But anyway, I will talk to you in a bit.